This is question number 6 on the January 2017 Algebra 2 Common Core Regents, and this is a straight-up knowledge question about statistics. Which statement about statistical analysis is false? So one of these is a lie. And we need to remember something about statistics, and that it is that correlation does not imply causation. Meaning just because two things are correlated doesn't mean we can determine cause and effect relationships. Now, there are two answers here that feature cause and effect relationships. One of them is false, and we have to determine whether it is the experiments or the observational studies. And for that, we have to remember the difference. In experiments, we control one of the variables. Sometimes more than one of the variables, and we are looking to see how a change in one variable causes or affects another variable. I suppose more accurately, it would affect it. It would cause a change in another variable. So experiments can be set up to determine cause and effect relationships, but just observational studies where we observe we do not control the variables, and we just observe how things change, either over time or over some other factor changing on its own, and those cannot determine cause and effect relationships. Now, if you have had any course in statistics, you have likely heard this example. The example is commonly cited in intro to stats and intro to psychology courses, and that is the correlation between violence and video games. That is, it has long been thought that, well, kids that play violent video games tend to be more violent. And on the surface, it seems like that would be a causation. The violent video games would cause more violence. But in reality, there's no way for us to determine whether it is the violence in the video games that causes real-life violence, or whether the kids that are inherently violent are drawn to the violent video games. So that's like a really, really classic example of an observational study that appears to determine a cause and effect relationship, but in effect does not. So observational studies can never determine cause and effect relationships. In order to do that, we would have to set up an experiment where we actually control one of the variables.